Hey, hello everyone. Well, I just went on a very long trip, as you may have seen in some of my previous videos, where I went for around 33 to 35 days, and I covered a lot of ground in western United States. And what I want to do in this video is talk about how much did it cost. I'm not going to do too deep of a dive, but I want to go through the different categories and just kind of talk about how much does it really cost to go on an RV trip, besides buying the RV. And please don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, give it a shot. I'm really trying to help bring a lot of information out about RVing to the community, and it's all free. So the only thing I ask from you is that you click the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Thank you. So let me recap really quick what that trip covered, all right? So I started in the Vancouver area of British Columbia and headed south. Went down across Highway 5, down across Washington, Oregon, into California, went down and cut over to Bakersfield, and eventually ended up in Hurricane, Utah. From Hurricane, Utah, I headed out to the Valley of the Gods, out by Monument Valley and all that. And then I went into Phoenix, picked up my wife at the airport. We went out into northern Arizona, out near Heber Overgard, I think it's called. Basically out into the mountains of Arizona to visit with some family. Then I dropped my wife back off at the Phoenix airport, and I headed out to Quartzsite, spent a couple days there, then out to Blythe, California. Then I went up to Paso Robles, California, through the Carrizo Plain, working my way up to the Sonoma County, where I stayed for a week, and then eventually made my way back up Highway 5 through Eugene, Oregon, and made it back home. And that was all about 33 days, I think was the total. And it came out to just over 5,000 miles with the trailer. So that was 5,000 miles of travel. Yes, there was extra driving around in each of those locations, but as far as the travel itself, it was 5,000 miles. So what does it cost to do a trip like that? Well, let's start with the most expensive thing, which is gas. The costs vary from state to state. So Oregon is much cheaper than California. Utah is better than California. Really, every place is better than California, except for here in British Columbia when it comes to the price of gas. But what I ended up spending on to get that 5,000 miles came out to be $2,530, $2,530, which also included some of the propane costs, because I would get that at gas stations. So it all got lumped together. That's in American dollars. This is all in American dollars. That was by far and away the most expensive part of the trip. It was almost half the cost of the trip was just gasoline alone. The next cost was food, and that came in at $1,853, which is more expensive than I would have expected, and that was for a couple of different reasons. Number one was I was eating alone most of the time, so it's not as efficient to shop in the groceries and make food and dinners for yourself as it is when there's two of you. And so I ate out more for sure. I also ended up throwing away some food a few times, a couple of times because the fridge either froze my meat or did something where it was kind of ruined my food, or I just lagged and didn't make vegetables or fruits or certain things, and so I would throw it away. And so that was a little wasteful. But I'd also point out that this food cost is something that whenever I do long road trips like this, I keep in mind that that's the same amount of money, or maybe a little more money, than I would be spending if I was just at home shopping, going to the grocery store, going to Costco, going to restaurants locally. You're going to eat no matter where you are. So when it comes to figuring out how much the food costs of your road trip are going to be, unless you're talking about going to extra special restaurants or something like that, it shouldn't be much of a difference on your budget than if you were staying home, especially if you're in an RV where you can have your breakfast and your lunches all, right out of your kitchen. So it came to around $1,853 is what I totaled. The next was RV parks. Now I stayed in a total of 16 RV parks and 2 nights in a state park. Now, and some of those RV parks were nice deluxe, high-end, $60, $70 a night places. Other ones were basically, campsites, pretty much campsites with power and water, and they came in pretty cheap. The total amount that I spent on RV parks was $625. I spent a lot of time boondocking. I did some mooch docking, and that's where I was parked in my sister's driveway when I was in Arizona, or and some other family members' driveway up in the Sonoma County area, where they actually have an RV pad on their ranch property. So I've made a point to really focus on boondocking as much as I could. And that's why I spent only $625 on RV parks over the period of 33 days. There's some other costs that I just kind of classify under hardware or household. This is everything from buying a Swifter and a broom to an extra trash can to trash bags to extra lubricants and tools at the hardware store, and I picked up some extra tools for the RV. So that just kind of get lumped into what I usually call household and hardware costs. Same with my home budget. Basically everything I would be getting at Home Depot or Walmart that isn't food, it all falls into this category. And that came out to $230. So I spent $232 exactly on household and hardware items. Don't forget, I am kitting out the RV. It's my first big trip, so I bought a couple of extra rugs and things like that for the RV. It all got captured in that cost. Then there was the internet. $220 is what I spent on the internet. What that came down to was 2 different $80 Verizon SIM cards that I would swap out my Canadian SIM card with that card. And that kept me going, and I had a fair amount of unlimited usage, but really only 50 gigabytes of priority usage. I think maybe it was 80. I don't exactly remember, but it was $80 each. I did have to pay $12 a day for my Canadian phone for like the first 2 days before I finally swapped out the SIM cards. So I had to pay for 2 calendar days of the $12 charge. And then there was, I think, one of the parks where I subscribed to the local Wi-Fi paid internet to try to get some higher speeds, and that was for work reasons, so I could work. So I ran up a total of $220 in internet charges. Next was coffee. I drink a lot of coffee when I'm on the road. I stop at Starbucks a lot. I stop at, the coffee kiosks that you see in Oregon and Washington State a lot, and get some little snacks as well. And that all came out to $159. So over that month, I spent around $160 on stopping for coffee. I'm happy with that. That coffee is what keeps me going. It keeps me alert. It keeps me and everyone else on the road a little safer. The next thing as we go down, and obviously we're getting down to the small cost now, is pet costs. This was buying some pet food, some pet treats. I forgot to bring water bowls. I tried to bring unspillable water bowls for the RV and the truck, so I had to buy a couple of those, and that came out to be around $73. I spent $65 on cat scales. If you followed along in my videos, I went through the cat scale a lot. I kept trying to shift weight around, trying to get my weights under control, because when I started off, first the trailer was a little too heavy. I was running a little heavy on the back end of the truck. So I just had to balance things out a little bit over the first few weeks. And I recommend this to anyone who's going out, especially if you're in the States where it's only like $13 to go through a cat scale. On every RV trip, at least once, until you really get to know your rig and really settle in on what the final weights are, I suggest you regularly on almost every trip, at least once, go across a cat scale. You can also go across the government scales that they put on the roads if they're closed. I mean, I wouldn't do it in California so much because they're pretty heavily patrolled, but I find in Washington and Oregon and up here in British Columbia, if the scales are closed, I'll often just pull in, run across them really quick, see what my weights are, and leave. No one really seems to care. You're not getting in anyone's way, especially if it's like a Sunday night or after hours. I recommend you go get your truck and trailer weighed regularly when you're RVing. And then there was just other stuff. It came to $55. I forgot what random things I was finding in the receipt pile that came down to that, but just random costs came to $55. So what does that come to? If you add all that up, what is the final cost to go on a 5,000 mile road trip that takes you 33 days? It came to $5,812. That was all the cost that I could add up. I'm sure there was a few things I missed in there, so you could round it up to $6,000 if it made you feel better. It costs a lot. It was my 50th birthday trip. I had a blast. To anyone who saw my videos, right, I went to some of the most epic scenic places in the Southwest. I really got to find myself and enjoy myself. And spend some real quality time with my dog and with myself, just sort of, spending time in my own head, away from all the screens and craziness of work. So to me, it was worth it, absolutely worth it. It may jeopardize my trip to Tuktoyaktuk, where I'm trying to get up to the Arctic circle before the end of the camping season, and this was a lot of money to spend that I wasn't quite originally planning on. So I'm still trying to figure out a way to get to Tuck this year. I may come up with some interesting plans to maybe try to get some extra revenue for this channel to fund the gas to get up there. It's really just the gas costs that are going to kill me. The gas is more expensive here in British Columbia than it is in any state in the United States. So it's pricey. In terms of US dollars, it generally runs like around $7 or $8 a gallon. So to give you an idea. There was one additional cost I want to talk about, and that was the costs of my brakes. I ran this whole trip with, I think the brakes on the trailer were set a little light. This is a new trailer, so I wasn't quite sure where to set the brakes at. I also was running a trailer that was lighter than I usually run. So I often would kind of joke, I don't even feel the trailer when I'm driving. I think this led to me accelerating and decelerating at a faster rate or at a higher rate than some of my previous larger, heavier trailers. And with that, plus the extra tongue weight of this trailer being heavy on the tongue for this run, I don't have the weight distribution bars set up just right. I'm still pretty convinced. And so I'm running really heavy on the truck, within spec of the truck, but still heavy. I ended up really wearing out my brakes. I had a inspection and oil change right before this trip, and I had, I think, like 10 millimeters of brake pad. And at the end of this trip, on the rear brakes, I had gone down to 5 millimeters of brake pad, almost to the point where you want to replace them. The front brakes were barely affected. So this led me to believe that I was running the trailer with the brakes too light. So on this last road trip I just did this last weekend, I started to start ramping up the power on the brake controller so that I'm running the brakes in the back a little heavier, and I can feel the pull a little more of the trailer now. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, before this season's over, I'm gonna have to get new back brakes on the truck. Lessons learned. But that's okay. It's the cost of doing business, you know. No one ever said being an RVer is cheap. So that's an additional cost that'll probably run me, you know, $400 to $800, depending on how I get the deal with the discs and get them lathed or replaced. And that's maybe a half a year or a year sooner than I would expect. So I could probably chalk that cost, or at least the having to speed up spending that money, I would blame that on this trip. It was all through the mountains. I was driving a lot on the hills. And again, I think I was running a little lead-footed, enjoying myself and the performance of my truck with that smaller, lighter trailer than my previous ones. So, oh well, lesson learned. Everything's fine. I didn't break anything on the truck, and the brakes aren't warped or anything like that. They just got worn out faster than I would have expected. I also expect that within the next year, I'm going to have to replace the tires on the truck, because they're starting to wear down. That's as truck tires do. So those are costs that I'll have to sort of wrap into this trip, or amortize and spread over a few trips in my head as I figure out how much does it really cost to go on an RV trip. Now, of course, you know, I've talked about in previous videos, there are other costs to RVing. I have to store the RV. I have to insure the RV. I've not paid off the RV. I'm paying interest on the RV. You could add all that to the cost of this trip. And yes, it would be cheaper to get a little cheap rental car and stay in hotels. But I just love being on the open road and having the freedom of RVing, so I don't care. This is why I work hard, and this is what I want to spend my money on. So that's it. That's how much it costs to go on an RV trip of this magnitude. I expect if I did this trip over again here, it would be just a little cheaper, because I learned some lessons along the way and kind of found my groove for this RV and traveling by myself. I think if I was with my wife, the food costs would be almost the same, because we would be far more efficient if we were eating together, working on meals together, having breakfast together, making sandwiches together. She helps me with a lot of the cooking, so we end up being more efficient, staying home and not eating out as much when we travel together. So I would expect that if we were together, the cost wouldn't vary much from what we saw right here. Well, that's it. I'll see everyone. Hopefully this little list gives you an idea of the kind of things you should be planning for on your trip. I might do a little bit more on trip planning. I do use a spreadsheet to do all of my trip planning. I know I've done some videos on trip planning, so you might want to look back on how I plan for a trip. And that's about it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm getting really close to 1,000. I'm approaching 900 subscribers right now with this video. So I'm hoping to get to 1,000 very, very soon. That's my big goal. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. It's the only thing I ask. It's free. Thank you very much. That up. Would it come to in US dollars? 50. So what does that come to if you add all that up? What is the final cost to go on a 5,000 mile road trip?